Hello, Carla Hartley here. Today I am continuing our discussion of exit strategies, and today's discussion is about the postnuptial agreement. Is a postnuptial agreement. Other than the fact that I would say it is a loud and clear signal that your marriage is headed towards the rocky shoals of divorce, a postnuptial agreement is an agreement the parties enter into after they're married, and in that document they commit to the terms under which the community estate and their marriage will be dissolved. I want to compare this to a prenuptial agreement because it's an obvious comparison. A prenuptial agreement is, one, under many circumstances, easier to set aside than a postnuptial agreement, as counterintuitive as that is. And two, a prenuptial agreement is, for the most part, not assuming for sure we're going to get a divorce. The prenuptial agreement does say that in the event of a dissolution, your separate property remains your separate property, and the other side's separate property remains their separate property. And a lot of times we'll see things in a prenuptial agreement that will talk about who's paying for what during the marriage, and we'll see other things that are committing to the terms that the parties' incomes earned during their marriage and the things that each party purchases with that income during marriage will remain separate property. That's not what we see in most postnuptial agreements. Most postnuptial agreements are basically, in the event of a dissolution, this is what we're doing with our kids. In the event of a dissolution of marriage, this is what we're going to do with our house. We're going to sell it, he gets it, she gets it, deed it to the kids. That's not so common. But it's the disposition of property. And I have seen postnuptial agreements that were so obviously prepared with, actually I've never seen one that was not obviously prepared with the end goal of dissolution of marriage in mind. And the inequities that people agree to perpetrate upon themselves in these postnuptial agreements are truly, truly staggering. I have seen postnuptial agreements that we've challenged, and some successfully, some not, in which the party who has the lesser earning ability and the lesser estate has simply agreed that most of the community acquired during marriage with the other side's money, which is community income, is going to go to the other side in the event of a dissolution. They're basically rewriting the law to do away with community property laws in the state of California or in the state of Texas, wherever you may be. So the postnuptial agreement is one of the largest signs that you should have that you have an exit strategy being prepared by the other side. Now, why would you ask for a postnuptial agreement? Well, for the same reasons that the other side, the spouse with the most to lose, as they see it, or the most to gain, is going to be the party that is pushing for the postnuptial agreement. The language that I have seen used, or have been told afterward was used, was not so much coercive and controlling. It was under duress. It's basically, well, if you loved me, you'd do this so that, if something happens, the stuff I've worked for all my life will go to my kids and not ours. Or the stuff that I've accumulated and worked for, I just want it to be mine. It'll make me feel safer. It's always an emotional appeal. It can't be a logical appeal because there's no logic to it. So I want to I want to conclude this by saying if you are seeking to enter into a postnuptial agreement, you do need the advice of counsel. There are certain very stringent requirements in order to ensure that your postnuptial agreement is going to be enforceable. And there are some things that simply cannot be done in a postnuptial agreement. One of those items is to dispose of the duty of support. That is something that you can agree will be handled at the time of dissolution, but under current law, as of the day that I'm recording this, support is not something that can be waived in a postnuptial agreement without a lot of other stuff happening. So that's what I've got on postnuptial agreements. It is sometimes a very good move for our clients. It is sometimes something that we wish our clients had not entered into 2 years before. Now, the period of time in which you can challenge the validity of a postnuptial agreement is likewise much shorter than the period of time in which you can challenge a prenuptial agreement. So my suggestion to you is, if you have signed off on a postnuptial agreement, take that thing to counsel as soon as you can possibly get it there and see if it was done to your benefit or to your detriment, and see if you're within the time frames or within any legal possibility for getting that thing set aside. That's all I have on this topic. I will be resuming the exit strategies discussion with my next video. Thank you.